What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's another beautiful day here in Sonoma. So as you guys probably know, it's almost drag racing season, which means it's time to get the truck running. We got some big boy upgrades for it, so we got to put those on. But right now, let's go take a look at it. It has not run in a while, so I have a feeling we're going to need a couple parts. I can see right off that, for one, the MSD box has been stolen out of it for the race car, and as you guys can probably guess, the battery's gone. So we're gonna go hunt down this prime suspect here and see if we can retrieve ourselves a battery. Okay, let's hope that the race car has a battery in it. Oh, there we go. Just the usual battery roulette here, swapping them in between. So let's pull this puppy out and go put it in the truck. And also, I'm not sure how exactly I'm gonna get there, but we gotta get the MSD box out of this thing too, so that the truck can run. Okay, so the battery's out, so let's go see about this MSD box. Okay, so we've retrieved hopefully everything we need. We got our MSD box here, battery there. So we're gonna pop this sucker together and see if she'll start up, drive her over onto the rack, and then start taking it apart so that we can make some big upgrades. I'm gonna throw this battery in, but I'm 99% sure that this thing's gonna be dead, so we'll have to go grab a jumper box for this puppy. Okay, so we got our jumper box on, we got our MSD hooked up, squirt a little fuel in her. This thing has not run in a while, but hopefully we'll just go in and turn the key and she'll fire right up. And here's all our parts here that we got to make some big upgrades to this puppy. So let's see what she does here. Oh man. Jumper box isn't giving us enough juice here. Okay, we'll see if that'll do it. We'll give her a pat here for good luck. Come on. It's not looking good here. All right, here we go. Third time's the charm. Oh, might have done it. Put a little more gas. Come on. Ah. What the hell is the matter with this thing? It's got fuel. Dirty fuel, but it's got fuel. Alrighty, so we got success. We have life again. Okay, so we got the truck on the rack here, which is kind of an ordeal. The biggest problem with this truck is that the torque converter it has is basically a bone stock one. That cam and that motor probably wants a 3500 stall converter at least, which is what we ended up buying, a 3500 stall converter. So that's gonna make a huge difference. The other big thing is that it's got a stock turbo 400 in it. We bought an upgrade kit, so we're gonna pull that here out. And we're gonna do a bunch of upgrades to the transmission where it shifts at wide open throttle. And we also got two-step for it. So we're gonna be able to get up on the two-step and go wah, ba, 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 ba. And that's just gonna be a lot of fun. So let's go ahead and lift this thing up and we're gonna get the transmission out here. So here's what we got here. We got our big dog converter there, two-step box, our new transmission shift kit. So this is all gonna make a huge difference to how we're able to launch the truck, which is gonna be super important. And also, before when we'd leave it in drive, it would shift at about 3,500 RPM, which is just not okay. So when we're gonna tune the transmission so that it shifts around 6,000 RPM. That's gonna make a huge difference. But right now, let's get the transmission out. Okay, so here's the biggest thing that's gonna make a difference. Instead of having that stock converter, this is probably a 3,500 stall converter. Not sure if it says here on the box. Let's take a look. Here's the instructions that came with it. I don't think it says, but it's about a 3,500 stall converter, which is gonna make a huge difference over the stock one. We got our Transgo tuning and shift kit, which will allow us to not shift at 3,500 RPM, but we'll be shifting at more like 6,000 when we leave it in drive. And we got our two-step box here, and two-step is probably one of the coolest things to go drag racing. Do I really need it? No. Is it gonna be a lot of fun? Hell yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. So right now, let's go ahead and drop the trans out of this puppy, and we'll check back in with you when that's done. So here's underneath. I don't think I'm going to show the entire process of taking it out. There's our stock converter, but really it shouldn't be that big of a deal. It should just kind of plop out. We got to disconnect the drive shaft and a couple little things like that. But let's get this thing out of here so we can start making upgrades. Whew, boy, so the trans is finally out. That was quite an ordeal. Our trans jack decided not to work, so there was a lot of jacks and jack stands and who knows what else to get that thing out. So there's the back of the engine with no transmission. This horrendous exhaust system that I whipped up a while ago is gonna get thrown away, and we're gonna make something nice. I'm thinking that it's gonna come and maybe exit out right about here with some nice side pipes. That was kind of what I was thinking. So anyways, let's start taking apart this transmission and throw some upgrades at it. And then we're gonna put it back in, and then we're gonna install the two-step, the launch control, and a bunch of other stuff on this baby. Okay, so we had a bit of an issue here with the transmission. We were trying to put this thing back together, and noticed that none of these bolts in the valve body here seem to want to get tight. And what we discovered that's kind of odd and I've never heard of is that the bolts actually stretched in the aluminum casing, which is hard to believe that the bolts would stretch and not just ruin the case, but I guess that's what happened. So it's going to take a little longer than expected to get the transmission back together and in the truck, but we've made some big progress on the trucks. So let's go take a look at that. So we've got our tack mounted. We got our button here for our two-step. All our stuff mounted nicely on our kick panel there. We put in a new set of old school looking gauges. All our wiring's pretty done and hidden underneath. So I'm all really happy with that. And everything's hooked up. Under the hood, it could use a little more work. We've got this power wire. We had to change out the alternator, but that's no big deal. So we got this new carburetor on, and that's about it. But we all know what you guys want to see. You guys want to see it laid on the two-step. So let's go ahead and fire it up and see how it sounds. So nobody wants to hear all the blah, blah, blah. So let's see if she'll fire up. And let's hear the two-step. That's what we want to hear. We have it set conservatively at about 2,000 RPM just because we're still getting things dialed in. Let's see if she'll fire. The belt squeak. All right, let's see what we got here. Sounds pretty good. I like it. Sounds pretty healthy. You know, I'm watching it back, and this truck's pretty loud. The phone really does it no justice. But anyways, I think we're looking pretty dialed here. The two-step seems to work pretty good. I'm sure it needs some fine adjusting, but hopefully we're going to get the trans all figured out, and we're going to get that puppy put back in the truck, and then it'll be down to do some bracket racing, so that'll be a lot of fun. The Pontiac's still just sitting here. Nothing's really getting done to it recently, but hopefully this thing will be on the road pretty soon. 68 front end on a 69 car Le Mans. It's not a GTO, but still cool. Still be a lot of fun. The race car is coming right along. We're going to a test day here in about a week to go do some of that, so that'll be a lot of fun. And I think that's just gonna about wrap up this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.